This is a good friend of mine. I invited him to my house. He's got a little show here that belongs to him. And what a great guy. I'm lucky to have a neighbor like him. So Dean, my question to you is, what is this all about?
All right,
I don't even know if I understand what you're doing.
Let's begin with that. First off, folks, some of you may know me from the conservation show that I'm working on, but out there a while, but that's not what we're doing here today. Today, what this is all about, Merlin, is what we're doing is we are discussing some of your experience in the Marine Corps. Mm-hmm. And you're going to be introducing us to a general and some highly recognized figures that a lot of people don't know about.
Yes.
And these people are going to be introduced to a real life hero. And for those that want to, well, let's put it this way. We've had a lot of real life heroes, but we have one of the most highly decorated military men in the Marine Corps that Merlin's going to introduce us to. And for those that don't know him, his name is Iron Mike Merskall. And the people are going to be, for those that may have seen some stuff, there might be some things out there about him, but Merlin knew him personally. So we got he's got some stories to share with us about his experience in the military, and that's what we're here for, is to educate and let the people know why we're going on 250 years of freedom in this country, and our country's under threat. And it's taken military people like yourself that went in, and not always by choice. A lot of guys were drafted. They went into war or prepared to fight a war, whether they fought or not. They were there on hand if they had to be. And that's what this is all about, is to educate the people on our military and the tactics and why we are doing this and what our freedoms mean to us.
Well, you know what I like about you, Dean, is you seem to have a lot of enthusiasm about the military, patriotism, all that, and you're my neighbor. I'm very lucky to have you as a neighbor, really.
Well,
I really appreciate this.
I make you
And,
yeah.
And he mentioned heroes here. What I like to do, and he kind of qualified himself, I got so many military stories to tell, and I was only in the Marine Corps for 2 years back in the 50s. So a lot of people say, who is that guy with a big mouth? How does he know all these things? Well, I lucked out. I really, really lucked out about 15 or 20 years ago. I ran into a full-bird colonel that had what he called a museum on wheels. He called this. And he was 80-some years old. I met him at the State Fair in Milwaukee. And here's a picture of the museum on wheels that he built. The first time I did a job for this guy, I emptied this and sped everything up, took over 5.5 hours. So he's got a lot of stuff here. I call it the Museum on Wheels. And he wrote a book about the military, the Marine Corps and the museum. Here's his book. A lot of pictures in there. So starting with him, I was so lucky. I call it luck. It was honorable. To work for this guy, he was dedicated to the Marine Corps. And through him, I met Iron Mike Morbush. This guy was taking the museum to Louisville, Kentucky, and he didn't have a driver. And he says, and he didn't have a license no more. He's 80-some years old. He's kind of walking around in a wheelchair. He says, I give a damn if I break every law in the book. I'm going to get this museum down there. I got to do it, and I volunteered to drive it for him. That's how I got started with this. Now, I just want to qualify how I can talk about these things. So I got to know him. Down in Louisville, I met a very popular, famous Marine. He fought in the Second World War, the Korean War, and the Vietnam War, 30-some years in the Marine Corps. His name is Iron Mike Morbush. So down there, he was watching me run this museum. And he tapped me on the shoulder, I think it was the third day there, and he says he was watching me. He liked the way I talked about the Marine Corps, how I treated the Marines. He needed someone to escort him around the country. He says all of his comrades are either dead, crippled, they're in nursing homes. He still does a lot of stuff for the Corps, so he needed a guy that can help him through the airports, meetings, hotels. Well, I was watching his pills too, because the guy was on a lot of pills. He didn't know that. And I didn't want him to kill himself because he liked to drink a little bit with all these pills, so I kind of helped him there. So this is Iron Mike Morbush, and here's what it says. Sergeant Major Iron Mike, most decorated Marine alive, kicks off the July 4th celebration 2009. That was in Oceanside in California where he lives. And it turned out he was the most decorated soldier alive if you put all the other militaries together. So I worked with this guy for about, I would say 7 or 8 years before he died. He was 93 years old. So being with this guy, I met the Commandant of the Marine Corps, Kelly. I met a couple other generals in the Marine Corps that were really, really heroes. And here in this book, I took a picture. I also met another general. Here he is. He was a colored guy. He was 6'4", 2-star general, and he was in charge of the Marine Corps reserves throughout the country. So he had quite a job here, and I got to know him quite well. And when he came to see this display, he liked it so much he wanted us to take that down to Dallas for him. And we did.
Which one is he, Merlin?
That right here. This is that General Williams, Jim Williams, right here.
Okay, there you go.
What a guy! This guy was 6'4". I think he studied 5 different martial arts. The guy was just awesome. I really respected this guy. And I made a joke with him one time, with all the stuff you know about martial arts, you could kill guys with your bare hands. Now he said it's easier if you got the right weapons in your hand and stuff like that. So another joke I had with this guy, he's 6'4". In the military, when you're in combat, you got to have techniques of how to hide so the enemy can't shoot you and stuff, you know, when the bullets start flying and everything. And I made a joke with him. I says, God, you got a handicap in combat. I said, when bullets start flying, you got a hard time getting underneath these rocks and bushes that us little guys get into. He says, don't kid yourself. I'll get under them rocks and bushes as quick as you can. So that was kind of a joke between them. But that was really a great guy, this general here. I haven't talked to him in a while. Maybe I can pick him up later on. So, John Scoborn here, that's the key. Then I met that general. I met the Commandant of the Marine Corps. I even got to drink and be in a room 2 different times with the chairman of Joint Chief of Staff. His name was General Pace. I got his challenge medal right here. So I spent a lot of time with him. And I heard these guys talk. So usually when I'm telling military stories, I'm not saying what I did or saw. I'm repeating what these guys are talking about. This guy fought on Iwo Jima for 36 days. Iron Mike fought on Iwo Jima for 36 days. And some of the stories they talk about, it just puts goosebumps on me and a lot of other people. And then I got a friend here that was the Adjutant General State of Wisconsin, James Blaney. Some people in Wisconsin know him personally. He was a 2-star general. Him and I played in the same football team in our high school. Another great guy. He had a lot of stories to tell. So when I'm talking about the military, I'm really talking about what these guys told me. And General Kelly was a very interesting man, the Commandant of the Marine Corps. He told some stories that were just really, I don't want to get into some of these, it'll take me too long. So what I'm trying to do here is qualify me and I asked every one of these guys, when I'm around, like I go to Marine Corps birthdays, can I repeat some of these stories? And every one of these guys said, if I want to, I have a right to repeat any story I ever heard these guys say. So that's why I can talk about these guys. I'm not talking behind their backs or anything. So I think I did a good job here, Dean, qualifying myself.
You have, Merlin.
So these people know I'm not kidding. I'm not making things up. I like to tell the truth.
Yep.
If you can't tell the truth, shut your mouth.
Well, that's it. I'm gonna let this roll away just so the folks know. We had gotten cut off a bit. I mean, they could see us, they could hear us, but you know, they only saw us moving around our bodies. But we're going to leave things go as they are, because this isn't Hollywood. This is a real video. This is what's happening, and this is the talk that you're or this is what you're introducing us to. So I'm going to leave it as natural as it is, and that's it. I went around. I got in the way. I interfered. I had to get around to get to the camera to do some zoom in. But before I leave here today, we're going to get shots of the people you introduced us to close up, so they can get good looks at them.
You going to do that now? You want to get a closer shot at some of these guys, or?
Well, we will before we leave. You know, we got our camera set up, and it's just me and Merlin here. But
you know what inspired? I think what inspired this guy. I'm kind of a political animal kind of a guy, and we didn't mean him get discussing about politics, military politics, and we really got into some of the stuff. And I think that's what that kind of helped you get into what you're doing here.
Yeah, it has, and I had of course I had an older brother that was in Vietnam, and I had a cousin that was in Vietnam, and and you hear the stories, and I think some of the things that woke me up a lot, Merlin, was the fact that the past since 2016, we've been getting eye openers on what's going on with this country, and a lot of it was hid from people, and a lot of guys probably. We had awareness. We knew some things weren't right, but it woke me up to realize how important our freedom is and what's happening and how frightening it can be. And maybe I won't be here. Maybe I will be. But the thing is, this is not what we want to see happen to the land of the free.
See, this is where
That's what this veteran thing is all about.
See, a lot of people don't know this about me. I wasn't that smart in school or anything. I joined the Marine Corps, thank God. It helped me.
Yeah.
It really did. And if I didn't have my Marine Corps background, I'd probably be a flaming Democrat today. But for some reason, I noticed years ago, all my Marine Corps values was being contradicted more and more, like, oh, you and your flag, you and your Constitution, patriotism, blah, 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 blah. And I was a loyal Democrat. I finally got away from it. I had to. I couldn't take it no more.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, I got hooked on politics. And I consume around 6 hours of news every single day, from books, TV, radio, papers, whatever, every single day for about 60 years now. And I've told people, if I don't know something about politics, I'm stupid. There's something wrong, because I study this 6 to 8 hours a day, every day. And the more I learn, the more I want to know. And what I'm seeing today is very, very scary.
Yeah.
I just saw this week 3 people that won their elections out east in New York, and they campaign on hatred for America, anti-Constitution. They believe in communism and socialism, and they got elected. Now there's something wrong here.
Yeah.
How in the world can these people be elected, campaigning on hatred for America, anti-Constitution, or being elected? And I got an answer for that. I got a very good answer for that. Rush Limbaugh talked about this a lot. It bothered him going back 25 years ago or more. He used to talk about the low information voter out here we got, Democrats and Republicans. And them people are easy to fool. They really are. They'll believe anything you tell them. I know a few of my friends that no matter what you tell them, they're either a Democrat or a Republican. They don't know why. If you ask them questions, they don't know nothing. But then when they go vote, the majority of these people are voting for socialism, communism. I say, what the hell is wrong with you people? And you talk to them, you find out it really isn't their fault. They're not paying attention. They are a low information voter. They're all over the place, from the South Dakota to Texas, name it. They're there. And I think that's why the communists loves these people, because they're easy to fool, and it's proven. Just like this week, look what happened in New York. You got 3 communists that say they're communists. They got elected, and they got elected by degrading our Constitution, everything that we believe in, the 250-year celebration we're going through. I think around 75% of the Democrats aren't even going to celebrate because they don't like their own country right now. Now, if this continues, you can kiss this country goodbye. And I'm not saying this. I know generals, and I know a lot of politicians that I trust are saying that we got to stop this, or we're going to lose the whole damn thing. And it's right around the corner. It happens fast. I think it was Reagan said that we could lose this whole country in one generation if we don't keep our eyes open. And I'm seeing it right here, right now. Just think about this. It scares me. I got a young neighbor of mine, 31 years old, very smart, 6 years in college. I asked him one day, "Are you scared?" He said he's scared to death. What he sees and hears, and what he sees, if this happens, what's he going to have for, say, 34 years of his life? And that's what me and him talk a lot about right here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's frightening, and what people don't realize, and I know a lot of people you know, and I've talked to some of these people to try to find out where are you coming from with your hatred. Well, we're not fair, we're unfair, no, America, that's wrong. America has always been fair. We've dealt with the other countries. We you know, they get our money, but we cannot just allow anybody and everybody in. It's like you got to have your guard up, and that when they just let all these people take in.
You're talking about the 15 million illegals during
Well,
Joe Biden?
it's the illegals. It's easy to brainwash people. I mean, Charles Manson did it from his cell. Mm-hmm. He brainwashed people to do his killing for him. Mm-hmm. I mean, the thing is, education is important, and if people don't realize that we have to have some kind of law and order, they got an issue.
Yeah.
And by just saying, oh, you know, we're okay, communism isn't as bad as you think, it'll get bad. It will get bad. They will own you.
See, I think I know something here. This goes back right after the Second World War is where I like to start. And I've read this where this is really so. When the Second World War is over, we was already had a fear for communism. And then shortly after that, right immediately, came the Cold War. And I remember when I was a 10-year-old kid, when I hear the word communism, it scared me. Yeah. Because all the veterans from the war was talking about them dirty, rotten commies, dirty, rotten commies. And when I was in the Marine Corps in the 50s, the mantra that the Marine Corps pounded in our heads every single day was, the only good commie is a dead one. They're dangerous. They're no good.
They're dangerous.
And by God, I took an oath to die for my country and do these things. Yeah. And I still got that little feeling in me that that's like it's a duty. It's a duty to defend your country at all times. Be proud of your flag. Yeah. Be proud of the military. Be proud of the honor duty country thing. And by God, I'll tell you what. I can talk to some of my friends that I got, they don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Yeah. And
you know, Merlin, you know as well as I do that the wars are political wars. We know that.
They're all political.
But you still have to defend the country. You can't just let people come in. I mean, you can't do that. And what people don't realize, and some of these young people, what I'm trying to get across to them, is like, look, if these people get their way, they're not going to be so nice to you. You're not going to have your freedom. They're going to, I mean, for all we know, you could be in a concentration camp. You could wind up dead. I mean, if you look at all the people they let in here.
And they did that hundreds of times.
They've already done it.
Yeah.
I mean, and if you look at all the people that come in here, you got the cartels, you got to worry about that with children and women and even some guys, you know. Most guys will put up a fight and die for it before they'll be stoop that low, but
well, all you got to do, Dean, is I tell people, take a good look at China, Russia, North Korea, Cuba, Venezuela, Chile. All of them, they were kind of they're kind of coming out of that. But these are the countries, and they rule with an iron hand. Yeah, I had a list here a while back. They named 5 communist countries to keep them countries communism. The rules all come from the top down.
Yeah.
They have already killed millions of their own people.
Yeah. And
I can prove that. If someone sits down, I'll show them. They killed millions of people. And yet we got so many dummies in this country that are telling me communism is good. I say you're either stupid, dumb, or you're lying. You don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah, it's not
and
good.
They're talking, they actually believe that stuff.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing that's been said many times. One party in this country has gotten a lot of votes, a lot of power by spending other people's money.
Yeah.
You know who they are. I think people watching this will know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And this one guy says, how the hell do you beat Santa Claus? Yeah. Once you give something away to someone, other people's money, and you try to take that away, you're in trouble. So that's what we're up against here.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of people say, well, you know, really. Well, someday they're going to take that candy away from you, and they're going to knock you in the head, and you're done.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's exactly how it goes.
So, and just so people know, we're not getting off topic about the war. That's what the wars have been all about. It's been about our freedoms, and I think that's what Merlin is pointing out here, that we wouldn't have it. We wouldn't have it If it weren't for guys like Iron Mike, if it weren't for guys like Merlin, if it weren't for anybody that had to go in, and whether you saw combat or didn't see combat, they were there. They were on hand. If it had to be, it had to be.
Yeah.
That was risking their life
Yeah.
for our freedom.
See, I've heard some generals of me being with Iron Mike. I've sat at tables with the chairman of Joint Chief of Staff. What a great guy he was.
Yeah.
He was the first Marine Corps general to ever get that job, chairman of Joint Chief of Staff. What a wonderful guy he was.
Yeah.
And my first question to guys was, how the heck do you look? He looks so young. He says, Merlin, you should have saw me before I took this job. So he claims he aged a lot, but like Iron Mike, that darn fool there, he got out of the Marine Corps, highest decorated military guy in the United States.
Yeah.
And the Iraqi war broke out. This guy went down and tried to rejoin the Marine Corps. Iron Mike did, and
Yeah.
they laughed at him. No, you're too old, Mike. You did your job. Go home and behave yourself. And he insisted on it so hard that the Marine Corps had a one-star general send him a letter.
Yeah.
Iron Mike, for God's sake, I know you want to join the Marine Corps. Why don't you stay home and give the young guy a chance?
Yeah.
Well, he kept it up. Then they offered him a desk job.
Yeah.
He said, no. No. I want to go to combat like I always did.
He was a fighter.
Yeah, that's the kind of guy he was.
Yeah.
I never met a guy like him.
Yeah.
I got a Marine Corps manual. I don't have it up here. That's a blue book about that thick.
Yeah.
The Marines in boot camp learned every paragraph in that damn book. How to fight, how to line things up, and what you can and can't do. And Iron Mike could just about recite. He was reciting something in the manual one time. And these manuals come out periodically to get different Marine Corps manuals
Right.
for the new guys coming in. And by God, that guy was reciting some of the stuff in my manual back in 1956, word for word. I says, how the hell does this guy do it? He like he was 100% Marine. The Marine.
Oh yeah.
And he just loved the Marine Corps.
Well, I did quite a bit of research on him, and man, the things that they find, and it's very, very interesting. And Iron Mike joined, and for those that don't know this, after he was done, what was World War II, correct? And then
Here's how he explained
there
it.
was 2 wars, and I'm going to tell him the third one he went into.
Here's how he explained it. He had to go to a big doings in World War II museum.
Yeah, okay.
And that's when I started escorting him around.
Okay.
And what they would do, they would send Iron Mike from California to Dallas, the hub. Then I would get there before him, and I would make sure I got him off the plane to the hotel and all that kind of stuff. And in this doings, this is so goddamn funny, and this is kind of the answer to your question. We had to go through this door in front of this big stage. There was the mayor was there, a couple of one of the senators was there, Tom Brokaw was there, about 500 people, and they had all these military guys, veterans, lined up. They go out there one at a time, and this little girl, there was high school kids assigned to every one of us, and who was assigned to Iron Mike and me was a young girl from New Hampshire, I think New Hampshire, and her name was Sarah, cute little girl, about 17 years old.
Yeah.
And she had number 22. We had a good, and then she would lead us down through the crowd, and then would seated us, and then she went over to the side to where her parents were sitting.
Right.
So I walked up to her. I said, Sarah, do we have the right girl? She said, yes, you do. And she says, what's your name? I said, my name is Merlin. This is Iron Mike. She said, I got the right guys and everything. So I said, Sarah, I'm going to introduce you to Iron Mike. Iron Mike, this is Sarah. They shook hands and everything. So I said in a polite way, I said, Sarah, would you like to ask Iron Mike a question or two? Yes, I would. And so she says, Iron Mike, why did you join the Marine Corps? And that's what you were saying, right? Iron Mike said, well, little girl, this is how it went. I was a young man, the Jets, he's not politically correct.
Right.
The Jets, they invaded my country, and I knew I had to do something about it, so I joined the Marine Corps. And her eyes got kind of big when he said Japs.
Yeah.
I knew he hit her nerve in here because it wasn't politically correct to say Japs, apparently. And then her second question was, Iron Mike, what did you do in the Marine Corps? He said, I kill people. And that girl, I thought she was going to faint.
Yeah.
She was, honestly, hit her hard. And I noticed that. So now we go down through we did our thing. She went back to her parents. So later that day I asked him, Iron, because he wasn't politically correct about anything.
No, he
Just
wanted,
the way
he wanted to be,
yeah. And so I said, Mike, weren't you a little hard on that girl? He said, what are you talking about, bro? Well, she asked you a question instead of saying, maybe the Japanese or something. Or, the way you said Japs, you kind of shocked her. Says, I told her the way I thought it, I said it. And then you said you killed people. He says, I'm telling her the truth. That's what I did in the Marine Corps. I killed people, And it was so funny how I got him all worked up about the way he treated that young girl. So that was Iron Mike.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, what people don't realize about guys like Iron Mike, and there aren't too many guys like Iron Mike, but they're full patriot. I mean, their job, they train their minds, and people can do that. People can train their minds.
Well, he was a trained Marine for sure, and
Yeah.
he trained a lot of people.
And he trained a lot of people. But by being hardcore, and now I notice today it's not. People are saying, "Oh, we can't be that hardcore." Well, if you're not, you're being too. If you're too lenient, that's when people cross the line.
See, Iron Mike had a saying, and his saying actually came from a famous Marine general. I forget his name right now, and he always said, "Sweat in peacetime and save blood in war."
Yeah.
If you train hard in the peacetime area, and then a war breaks out, you will actually save blood because you're doing the way you're trained.
Yeah.
So sweat in peacetime, and you will save losing blood in a wartime, and that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Yeah. He was quite a guy, and he was quite a figure. And I'll tell you, a lot of people don't know about him, so I think it's good that we're getting the word out about Iron Mike.
Yeah, he's talked a lot about, and he was in every division in the Marine Corps that there ever was. The Vietnam War was. I got a film here. I'm going to show him later on today, where one of his famous speeches was about the Iwo Jima War.
Yeah, Iwo Jima.
He said, all the battles I've ever in, that was the most intense battle I was ever in.
Yeah.
And he says what was good about it was there was no hospitals, no schools, no women, no children, grandma and grandpas. It was, the Japs were under the ground.
Yeah.
There's hardly, I don't think there are any buildings on that, no trees.
Right.
So he said it was iron and cement against iron and cement, man against man.
Yeah.
He said they fought under the ground, we fought above the ground, and we kicked their ass.
Yeah.
And he said it was intense.
It was. Oh yeah. I imagine it was.
He was talking to this woman was collecting information about military guys like what you're doing.
Right.
And she was a professor from some college in San Diego. And I'll be darned, as Mike's talking about, now this is years later, this just happened recently, and he's talking to us about this and that. He said, something here a while back occurred to me. We were talking with other Marines, and he's talking about how intense this war in Iwo Jima was.
Yeah.
I fought on that island for 36 days, and he doesn't remember one time dropping his pants and taking a dump.
Yeah.
Now that's impossible.
Yeah.
And by God, he said it's true. That war was so intense. Every minute, every hour.
The last thing he had to think about was
screaming and hollering,
Yeah.
constantly being shot at.
Well, Merlin, when he referred to them as Japs, now today Japan is our allies, which is, isn't that remarkable how it reversed, which is good. I mean, that's not a bad thing. But, it was back, that was 1941 when they first attacked Pearl Harbor, and I think that's...
Yeah.
And so, now, what war was it that you were in?
I was in between the wars. I went in 1956. I was in between the Korean War and the Vietnam War.
Vietnam War, yeah.
And I had a 6-year obligation, and that all ran out in the middle in the middle 60s.
Okay.
So a friend and I was going to join the Marine Corps, because Marines are a little nuts about these things.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we're crazy or what. And we went down, and it turned out I couldn't rejoin the Marine Corps because I was 2 years too old for the line they had, and I had one too many kids.
Oh.
I had 2 kids that I disqualified me. Put them 2 together, disqualified me from going in the Marine Corps.
Okay.
And he got disqualified because he was too old, period. He was
Okay.
a little bit older than me.
But you were in the Marine Corps. That was the division you were in.
No, I was out of the Marine Corps when I tried to rejoin.
Yeah, but I mean you were in and then tried to rejoin it.
Yeah, that was during the Vietnam War.
Yeah.
And you brought up something here.
Well, they were also drafting at the time and bringing young people in. To the,
Well, there was a lot of
Vietnam
draft. The Marine Corps didn't like the draftees because it was hard. It was hard to make Marines out of them. See, the Marine Corps says, and it's in their Bible, it's in the Marine Corps Bible, Marines are born to be Marines.
Yeah.
You're born to be Marines. So you take a drafty now, just say a drafty guy, and
Right.
he ends up in the Marine Corps. It was hard to persuade that guy that he's in the Marine Corps, we got certain values, but so it was harder to train them to be a Marine than a guy that wants to be. Wants to
be, right.
Like if you want to play football,
Yeah.
and you play football, if someone forced you to play football, you wouldn't be that good of a football player.
Right.
That's kind of what they're talking about. And this is a good point I want to bring out that was very, I had tears in my eyes when I saw this. I was at the state fair, and you just brought it up about how we helped the Japs after the war and stuff like that. This guy was the ex-governor of the state of Wisconsin. I think his name was, he's a guy in a red vest. And remember him? And I can't really think of his name offhand.
Yeah, we just
He
talked
was
about
a
this.
Republican governor, and he gave a speech. Anybody that tells you that we're not a good country is a liar. They don't know the facts. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give you a good example here. Take this great country. We already fought the First World War. We fought the Second World War. And right after the Second World War, we had the most powerful weapon in the world, the A-bomb. We used it twice. Nagasaki and Hiroshima, right?
Yeah.
And that brought Japanese to their knees.
Right.
And if we had to go in there and fight toe to toe, we probably would have lost millions of people.
Yeah.
But we didn't. The A-bomb did it. But he says, look what this great country did. Here we are. We had our military. We could have did anything in this world we wanted to do, capture, take over anything we wanted, but we didn't. You know what we did? We went back and we rebuilt the same 2 idiots that tried to kill every one of us, Germany, all of Europe, and the Japanese and all of the South Pacific area. MacArthur was down there, the Marshall Plan in Europe. The same people that wanted to kill every one of us, we went back, restored their economy, their countries, gave them a good government, and they prospered. He says, so we laid that big sword on its side, and we went in and did all them great things. So don't ever let anybody tell you that we're a bad country because they're full of shit.
Yeah.
And he said they're right on the stage up there.
Yeah.
Dreyfus, his name was Dreyfus.
Oh yeah.
Governor
yeah.
Dreyfus said that.
Yeah.
And when he got in his car, there was a big crowd up there. I ran to the car to catch him, and I did. I was rapping on the window, he was going through the crowd, and he rolled one out and said, sir, I said, do you have a copy of that speech you just gave? I want it. And he says, there's no copy. It came right out of my heart. And I looked at the guy and said, holy Christ.
Well, that's when people were, I mean, were more.
And that story will stick
legit.
in my little head for years and years.
Yep. When it comes from the heart, speaking of coming from the heart,
Oh.
he gave me this. And just so the folks know, in this little bag here, I have some sand. And it's part of history. It's from Iwo Jima.
Iwo Jima sand.
And Merlin has some of that here. I believe he gets it.
Well, you know where that came from. John Scoborn, the colonel that
Scoborn,
ran that
okay.
museum.
So that's mine. That'll
and
be
if you look at this, maybe if you had a microscope, there might be some Marine Corps blood in this stuff
There
here.
might be somewhere in there.
There was blood all over the place.
Oh yeah, it
It's
would be
dark.
dried up. But
It's
yeah.
a lot of volcanic ashes in there. It makes
Right.
it dark. And the Marines say when it was deep, it was like walking into a soft, heavy snow. You're sunk in it.
Yeah.
And that guy said when he took his platoon on the beach in Iwo Jima,
Yeah.
they're trained to where to go, lay down, and his job as a commander of the platoon was, first thing you do is you call in and tell them where your position is,
Right.
your ammo, and your casualty report. That's the first thing you do. And he said, I did it. I laid the phone down. I laid my hand down because bullets are flying all over the place. And he said, I couldn't believe how heavy I was breathing. He said, I was completely exhausted.
Oh, yeah.
And you know what he says? I haven't even begun the fight yet.
Yeah.
That just running up to that
running
area,
up
he
there,
was through this darn deep sand and everything.
Well, you know, we won't get too off the subject on Hollywood films or anything, and I know that the some of the Marine Corps was against them, but if you were to look at that classic film, Sands of Iwo Jima, and the photo at the end when they're putting that flag up, I did some research. That's an actual video footage that was taken,
yeah.
and the guy that took that, he died. Actually, that photographer got killed.
Yeah.
The video guy got killed in the war, but they did keep that footage. And he took that, and in the movie, in the back, two guys handed the actor the flag, and they were actually two of the guys from the military, or that fought Iwo Jima. One of them was Ira Hayes, which people don't even know about.
Yeah.
And he was an Indian that his like one kaput, like a lot of them. You know, but yeah.
I know a lot of Marine Corps movies that were made, they do actually splice in a lot of the real action
They
stuff.
splice in some of the
When I watch
footage.
that, I can kind of pick it out. I think when it's real and it's not.
Yeah.
And it's really something.
This is the Pacific as you know. Wide stretches of water. But this is the Pacific as the Joint Chiefs of Staff view it. A battlefield. Iwo Jima, the most heavily fortified island in the world.
See, I always had the funny feeling in me, when I was in boot camp in the 50s, they were showing us the Marines took a lot of films of the combat, so they can use it to set up, to study this stuff and do a better job maybe some other time. And I seen real films where that gate comes down, Tarawa, Saipan, Palu, and these Marines hit them goddamn beaches, and they never, they go one direction straight forward, and they never stop. And I'd sit there and say, holy Christ, would I be a real Marine someday if I had to do what them guys are doing? And that's what they train you for. They get you all nuts and crazy about these things. And I told that story to Iron Mike. And you know what Iron Mike's answer was? He says, Merle, I want to ask you a question. What the hell do you think all that training was for?
Yeah.
You'll get on a battlefield and within 1 hour you're doing things that you don't even think about.
Yeah.
All that Marine Corps training will make you do them things.
Yeah.
So that helped me a little bit, but I always felt, would I be able to do that?
Yeah.
Because
that's questionable.
and like this one general says, you goddamn Marines, what do you have to worry about in combat? You got a Marine in front of you, you got a Marine to the left of you, you got a Marine to the right of you, you got a Marine behind you, you don't have a goddamn thing to worry about. Holy Christ, you're kidding. You know, that's the answer with some of these guys, but they talk. So when I shoot my mouth off, I'm just repeating what these guys are telling.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, they are some brave, crazy people out there.
Well, you know, we had to have them. We had to have people like that.
Yeah.
You know, you had to have the special fighting force. You had, you know.
Yeah.
And I got no room. I got no room to talk from at all. I shouldn't even be the one hosting this. It should be an expert from the military hosting this. But my part of giving back.
You got the spirit here, though.
Yeah, I do.
You got the spirit.
Well, my part of giving back is doing this. I'm trying to, you know, I felt that, you know, I mean, I know now for years it's about time that we've given back to some of these military guys because, you know, and we've been doing that now a lot in the years. But, boy, when they first come home, like the Vietnam guys, they were called baby killers and the whole shebang. It's like, come on, man.
Yeah.
They, you know, my cousin wrote a song, and I'm just going to put this little thing in here, and he said he shot at VC, which is a Viet Cong, up in a tree. He didn't know who was shooting at him. All he knows he's being shot at. He fires back, and in the song, he walks up, and it was a boy of only 13. And if you think that didn't haunt him for his life, that haunted him, and along with all the other stuff, you know. And which brings up the other thing we didn't bring up on Iron Mike. I was going to bring up the third war he fought in.
The third war.
Vietnam.
Yeah.
You brought that up. Yeah, he went into Vietnam in 2 tours, I think, in Vietnam. So he was World War II, and then
Korean,
and then Vietnam.
and they were all combat situations. None of this behind desk job crapola.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
wrote
you got to have the best guys there. We get that, but you got to have the guys like this. And if this is where they're good, this is where you leave them.
I wrote down there every story you ever told me that was about this thick. His experience in combat. And some of them stories are so. You wonder how in hell did they really do it? Really, it's scary. Like Iron Mike told me one time. Anybody that ever saw combat and said they weren't scared, I don't want that son of a bitch 5 miles around me.
Yeah.
Because being scared is a mechanism that God gave you to make you more alert. When you're scared, you're more alert.
Yeah.
If you're not scared,
Yeah.
you're going to make a lot of damn mistakes.
Yeah.
So Iron Mike said these guys that say they weren't scared, they're lying to you or they're stupid.
Yeah.
And I agree with that.
Yeah.
It was strictly fighting man against a fighting man. In other words, it was kill or be killed. Uncommon valor was a common virtue.
Yeah. Well, Merlin, you got quite a collection going on here, man. And look, by the way, what you're watching is in their own words, and this is how I want it. So when other guys come involved, and as I continue this little journey for the military, I want people to realize that.
Am I the first guy you did this with?
You're the first guy I've done this with. We got more coming on. There'll be more coming on. I hope, trying to get them, and I think we'll be able to get them. So, but I just think it's important to share the information to the public. I think they need to know.
And when you do this, I see Iron Mike talk. Just because the guy's in the military could be the biggest goddamn liar you ever met.
Oh, sure.
You know,
I just had that discussion.
The military guys get a lot of leeway. They can say that, damn, I caught a couple of Marines lying. I didn't say nothing. They want to be that way, fine. But I don't like that. If you can't tell the truth about something, shut the hell up.
I agree.
I
agree.
Really.
Well, but that's my thing. Merlin and I aren't saying every veteran is
My neighbor kid is
sane.
looking for some sand. If I got some sand. Oh, I know where it is. It's in my jug up there. I got a little jug that I got some sand left up there.
Well, you also
I want to explain one more thing. You got to help me over on my wall.
I have a photo of us with that.
Huh?
I have a photo of us with that.
You got it. Okay. You got a picture.
But on your wall, you want me to grab something?
I want you to take a picture of Roy Rogers and Trigger up there.
Oh yeah.
I want to explain because this involves a lot of politics today.
Oh, let's do this.
And I'm going to use Roy Rogers as the example.
The camera around.
This is very important to me. Keep myself waving. Okay. A year ago, when I was 88 years old, my wife bought me a gift. So this is all wrapped up. I unwrapped it, and I actually had tears coming down my eyes. I'm a touchy guy sometimes. I think I'm tough. But anyway, here's Roy Rogers on Trigger. It's a beautiful picture. That guy was my hero when I was a little kid, 6, 7, 8 years old. Now here's what I'm going to say. It's very important here. It involves our Second Amendment. My heroes, Roy Rogers, Durango Kid, Hopalong Cassidy, Gene Autry, the Lone Ranger, all these guys were our kids' heroes back in the Great Depression, and I hear a lot of experts say the greatest generation ever was the 50 people. They come out of the Great Depression and they worked hard, and then the damn Second World War started. They went and joined and fought the Second World War. Then they come out and rebuild America. So they claim that the 50 generation is probably one of the greatest generations this country ever had. Now here's what I'm going to point out again. I'm going to get back to my hero here. I had more heroes than just him, but he was my main guy. The Lone Ranger, Roy Rogers, Gene Autry, Hopalong Cassidy, Durango Kid, Tim Holt. There were so many cowboys back in the days. They were our heroes. And they all had one thing in common. Every single one of them. Every one of them guys was carrying 45s. 45s. Now, if them guys were here today and took Roy Rogers to any school, he would horrify kids, parents. They'd probably run, scream and holler, guns, guns, guns. They would go. So these dirty, rotten people that don't know nothing are trying to eliminate our Second Amendment. They're trying to take my guns that I got right now. I got a right to carry. I don't do it a lot, but I do. And they're doing everything they can get the hands out of our hands. The only one that's going to have the guns are the criminals. That's bad. And I'm trying to point out again, the greatest generation in the United States, and I agree with that, was part of the people in the 50s. Our heroes growing up, they all had guns. They were proud of it. They hurt nobody. The only people they hurt, guess who it was? The bad guy. These guys don't hurt good people. I carry a gun once. I would never hurt a good guy. If I ever have to shoot that gun, it will be a bad guy, and I'll guarantee you that. But these rotten people that are trying to take our guns away, and they've been working on this for 50 years. And they're doing everything they can to take our guns away, which is stupid. If guns are that bad, how the heck did us guys in the greatest generation go out to be such great guys? And I consider myself a pretty good guy. And here's my hero right here, him and Trigger. That's what I want to say about this.
Yeah.
And I'm damn excited about this. These dirty, rotten people that want to take away our Second Amendment don't know what they're doing. They're full of crap. The good guys will have no guns. And it's already happened in some countries. Where they lose their guns, guess what happens to them? Their whole country comes crashing in on top of them.
If you look at the bottom of that too, you will see republics. Also, I remember Republic's pictures.
Well, that's the movies.
Right.
The Republic movies made the Roy Rogers movies kind of.
During those times. Wonder whatever became of that.
So that's what I want to say about my Second Amendment. I got proof. If guns are bad, how the hell did the greatest generation in this country turn out to be so good? The General James Williams that I met down in Dallas, Texas, he was the head of the Marine Corps Reserves. What a great guy he was. I would love to have him be my commander every day of the week. He knew his stuff, very loyal, and he called. There was a joke with him one day. I asked him if him and his wife ever had kids. No, their careers, they decided to be better not to have kids. But he says, Merlin, I had millions of kids. Really, how can you have that? He says, I consider every person that ever worked under my command as kind of like my kid. Yep. I trained them, I fed them, I took good care of them. So he called them guys his kids, more or less. So this guy's got about 1 million kids. This general, I teased him about that.
Very nice.
Okay. And then then here's John Scoborn. He was a lieutenant. He was a lieutenant colonel. Fought on the Iwo Jima with Iron Mike.
Yeah.
And here's one of my greatest commandants of the Marine Corps. I got to sit at the table, talk with this guy about 2 or 3 times. I drank a beer with him. What a great guy he was. He turned out to be the Well, here's the weirdest thing about this. I'm in a building. Here, I'll get the picture.
Sure.
I'll get the picture. I'll get this up. Here's the picture. I had this picture taken down in Louisville, Kentucky, where they were all down there. Here's the Commandant of the Marine Corps. Here's Iron Mike. And I got to have my picture taken with these two guys. Now, here's what's unique about these two guys. This guy rose to the highest rank as a commissioned officer and part of the most prestigious job in the Marine Corps, the Commandant of the Corps. Iron Mike rose to the highest rank as an enlisted man, a sergeant major. And he was over about 80,000 Marines in the South Pacific concerning their training and everything. So here these two guys are, and I got to be in the same room with them. I got to talk to them, drink with them, and to be around these kind of people, maybe military people will understand what I'm saying here. I just knew I was in a cloud.
Yeah.
Just being around these guys.
Yeah.
Rub shoulders with them and hear their stories. They inspire you. And I love both of these guys with all my heart. And then my buddy John Scoborn here, he was a great guy. He was a colonel. Here's my picture with Iron Mike on where I went to boot camp. We're saluting the flag back there.
Very nice.
And
very nice.
And if you want to know a little bit about the Corps, if you're not a Marine or you are a Marine, make sure you see these two movies. They'll tell you a lot about the Corps right here.
Okay.
Yes. And here's Iron Mike. I'm going to show my friend here when we're done here today. This is a disc here where Iron Mike gave a speech about the Battle of Iwo Jima. It's one of the most famous speeches he ever made. And I'm going to show him this. And it's all about the Battle of Iwo Jima. I never heard a speech like that in my life, but he knows how to talk about that battle. I'm going to show him this later on. And I also have a challenge coin from General Pace. He gave it to me. I played my harmonica and stopped him dead in his tracks. I played the Marine Corps hymn when he come into the room.
That's gonna be on the
And this
video.
guy stopped, he clicked his heels, and he immediately walked up to me and handed me this coin. He said I did a good job. So that's about all I can say here.
All right. Well, it looks good, Merlin. You did great, and we're pretty proud of you. Glad to have you on here for sure. I'm glad you did this for us. I really appreciate it.
I want to emphasize again what I want to emphasize here. When I talk about these things around different people, and I got permission to say anything I want about these guys because I asked them. When I go home and I go to some Marine Corps balls, I've already told the story that General Kelly said in a speech he gave. I remember that word first. Says, General Kelly, can I repeat this story? If I go to a Marine Corps ball, he's going to repeat it anywhere, anytime you want. Yeah. And I don't know, do you want to hear that story?
If you want to introduce it to the people, we can do that.
I will explain this be my last story here. So General Kelly was telling, when he became the Commandant of the Marine Corps, wherever he went, anywhere in the world, there was always this question, hey, are you Marines different than anybody else? We hear these stories, you guys are so different about this, and he'd come up and trying to explain to him how the Marine Corps thinks. Marine Corps are born and all that stuff, it's in their blood, it's in their blood. He's trying to explain that, right? So then a story came up that he experienced in Vietnam. And he used this story to explain what a Marine is. And he claims he was a company commander, and this corporal was to his right. They're going up this hill, and he got hit smack dab in the chest with a big piece of shrapnel, blew him wide open, hit the ground, and Kelly said you could actually see his heart beating.
Oh boy.
He kneeled down beside this guy, and they're screaming for the medics to get there as quick as they can. And Kelly was holding this guy in his arms as he's dying. His eyes are wide open. And Kelly said this guy looked up at him, and the last words out of his mouth was, "Sir, the hill is ours, take care of it." He says, that's a Marine. And that was the end of his story. And everybody was crying at this Marine Corps ball when the way he told the story was awesome.
It's a chilling story.
And that I don't want to say anything more than that.
Right.
And I asked him if I could use that story if I'm at a Marine Corps, and I already did it. I said, I got a story to tell that General Kelly said about the Marine Corps. And I explained that story the best way I could. And most people really clapped their hands.
Yeah.
And this is coming from Kelly. He told me I can say the story, repeat it, and that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So everything I tried to tell you guys today, it isn't coming from me. It's coming from all these guys on this table that I got to meet through Iron Mike, right here. And this colonel that run the museum. We went to schools, we went to colleges with that thing.
Merlin, let's hold the photo of Iron Mike up one more time on that the one you have over here with the medallion.
Right here, this one here.
Right here.
Oh, that's...
The one you were when he no. The one you were the Grand Marshal.
Oh, this one here,
The one you were talking about earlier.
That one right here, this is important.
Yeah.
This was in the headline papers out in Oceanside.
Right. Right. Yeah. Very, very interesting. Well, Merlin, I don't know. Boy, the only thing I can do is say is thank you so much for this information, and we're going to get this out as quick as we can. We got our 250th coming up, so I'm going to try to get this film going, and we're going to have, I might stretch it out throughout the 250th year.
Well, Dean, I appreciate
Celebration.
your enthusiasm for this country is about as high as any military guy I know, and I appreciate how you feel as a civilian.
Thank you.
And you're doing a hell of a job. You've always been interested in what I tell you. I think you trust me.
Yeah, I do.
And we get along good. I'm so happy I got a neighbor like you. And you continue this thing here. And what all Marines always say to people like you as we depart,
Yeah.
keep charging.
Well, we'll do that.
I purchased the book, The Green Berets by Robin Moore, read it, and said, if I'm going, I want to go with these guys if I can get through the training group.
I was an E5, Spec 5. I was a crew chief, door gunner on a UE.
It was one of my good warrant officer buddies that was flying the plane, and him and his co-pilot, they got killed. And I think that was probably the worst day and the thing I remember the most about.
And so it took a while to rebuild that army from Vietnam. And at the same time, moved from a draftee army when I first came in to an all-volunteer army.
I purchased the book, The Green Berets by Robin Moore, read it, and said if I'm going, I want to go with these guys if I can get through the training group.
I was an E5, Spec 5. I was a crew chief, door gunner on a UE.
It was one of my good warrant officer buddies that was flying the plane, and him and his co-pilot, they got killed. And I think that was probably the worst day and the thing I remember the most about.
And so it took a while to rebuild that army from Vietnam. And at the same time, moved from a draftee army when I first came in to an all-volunteer army.